People here, they help us, the investment pros. Heather Prabhakar, Matt McCall in his cool socks. Dani Hughes is back, CEO of Divine Capital Markets, with a fantastic yellow dress on. Tracy will be back. Really are. Dani, do you agree? Do you think that the market, do you think it could go up from here? And if it does, I also want to ask, what's the one stock people should own? But first, what do you think about my call on the Fed and the market?
Well, I think you're spot on with the Fed and the market. I'm so amazed, though, that people have plowed $11 trillion into the same banks that failed them,
Great point.
not so long ago, but I think you're absolutely right. The only place to go is really the U.S. stock market, and that's where we've seen a lot of people go. And I think we need to continue to do that going forward. I really don't think that we're going to see any kind of rate hike anytime soon. Wages have not risen at all.
A penny. A penny.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Over the past year, they haven't done
inflation up
anything.
like that. Okay, what's your stock, though?
My stock for the long haul?
Let's say someone's watching. They say, okay, you've convinced me, Charles. I'm going to buy at least one stock right now, and I'm going to buy it from the pretty lady in the yellow dress.
Well, I don't want everybody to take this advice because everybody's a little bit different.
No hedging.
I do think, you know what I like? I like Apple. I own Apple. My kids own Apple. Right. I think for the long haul, since the recession has embedded us in everything, we've actually seen Apple go up over 300%. I think there's an incredible amount of innovation there, and I really think that Apple.
And we saw the chart just a moment ago. I think that.
But one penny, how can you ever accumulate enough money for a down payment?
Well, we know millennials have half their money in cash, so maybe at some point they'll feel confident enough, or they'll say, why am I paying the landlord $3,000 a month to live in a closet?
Well, two things are at play here. Number one, banks are just not lending like they used to in the good old days. And also, like we talked about a little bit earlier, rates will rise at some point in the next year plus. So that means that the window for opportunity here to get low rates is really small. And they're going to start feeling that as we get closer and closer.
It's going to be more impossible to get a down payment.
When I start seeing mortgage rates go up, people get nervous and they're going to start rushing into homes, in my opinion. So that actually might be good with rates going up.
I've always kind of felt that, and then a few times over the last few years, every time they started to go up, I didn't see that knee-jerk reaction. I think what might help, I think housing prices went up too fast.
Yeah.
I really do.
But that was due to the buyers of those houses were generally institutional investors.
Sure,
exactly.
So the big buyers are a whole bunch of family funds and different institutions and individuals that had a lot of capital that said, wow, this is a huge opportunity. Let's go buy this big swath of houses and rent them out. And that's what happened. That was the big buying.
And I think we get a little bit of gears too much. Housing recovery, yes or no?
Yes, not yet.
Not yet. We'll see it more next year.
And if it does happen, is there a stock play on it?
I still like the home builders for that, but a little bit later, the toll brothers.
They're already down. You don't want to buy them now?
Nope, not right now.
Golly, you're scaring me.
There's still a little time.
I'm down in some of these things. 120, huge resistance. But beyond here, I'm looking for a pretty straight shot back to 147. All right, Dani, we're not talking about buying dip. We're talking about buying a major breakout on strong, convincing volume.
The stock was up today. And I do like where it's at. Cloud computing, I think that's phenomenal. I love the fact that they particularly have a penchant for security. And that's what all of the big telecom companies are always looking for. But 50% of their revenues come from overseas, particularly Europe. And if we continue to see stagnation and even reversal of fortune like in Japan, that could weigh on their growth.
See, I love that aspect.
And let me tell you, I'm also predicting, on that note, I'm predicting that in the next 10 years, Google will know more about the citizens of this planet than all U.S. government agencies combined. That is serious power. Dani, honestly, do you think they will never do no harm?
And they'll know more than your husband or your wife.
They already know more than
Exactly. I think it's very difficult to say that they do no harm because we can't really anticipate that. The one thing that I'm really concerned about Google and some of these other data collectors is that this stuff stays in their banks forever, right? And we are being sold our own information back to ourselves and to retailers. So your information is going from Google to everybody and their mother and then back to you. So we say that we don't have to pay for Google, we don't have to pay for search. That's baloney. We're paying with our lives.
And I think
that's everything.
What the model
is depreciation. That's cash flow. And a company like this, you start to measure it first on the cash that's flowing through it before some of the other traditional valuation metrics.
Yeah, it's going to take a long time, though. I mean, state by state, municipality by municipality, to get these things approved, and that's the problem.
Work with me a little bit. Earlier in the show,
work with you.
Earlier in the show, you wanted a stock to pull back. All right, now this is a stock that's pulled back and acts like it's ready to go.
You know, this stock has been around for some time, and just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's a good buy. So I would say that I would wait until it is.
But how do you get your energy?
Right,
you hate energy, you hate oil and gas,
No,
you
I
hate
love
the fuel
energy.
cells.
I love energy, and I like fuel cell, and I do think that cars will eventually be plugged in all the way.
Have you ever heard of hay?
Yeah.
However, a friend of mine
She lives
rode,
in Woodstock.
A friend of mine rode all the way down from Oregon all the way down the coast of California in a Tesla, and she said it took them so long because they had to plug it in all the way down.
Okay. Hey, guys.
A little too late.
If we break out to new highs, Danny, what should people do? Because I know you like these dips, but what if the dips aren't there? Shouldn't people just not be cute who've missed the market and find some stocks and start to build a portfolio?
That they believe in, and companies that they understand, and maybe even companies that are paying a dividend, because that way you get paid to wait. But one thing that you said that really struck me is how everybody put their money in the banks. There's $11 trillion in the bank. It's an absolutely sad, sad state of affairs.
It really is, guys. You know what?